Sometimes, it takes losing absolutely everything to finally look up. Have you ever hit that point where your plans just collapse, your strength is gone, and you realize you've been running, but you're not even sure where to anymore?
That exact moment, that point of total, uh, physical and emotional exhaustion.
Yeah.
That's really the crisis point we're digging into today.
Mhm.
It's where human failure, well, it bumps right up against divine encounter.
Exactly. Because that is precisely where Jacob found himself in Genesis 28, totally alone, terrified, running for his life. But right there, in that moment of, you could say, absolute exile,
Mm.
that's where heaven opened up. So today, we're having a Bible discussion focusing on that story, Jacob's flight from his family and his arrival at this place he ends up calling Bethel.
Yeah, and I think to really get the power of this story, we have to remember who Jacob was at the start of this journey. He wasn't, the great patriarch we think of later. Not yet. He was frankly a hustler, a schemer. Winning was everything to him.
The text doesn't pull any punches about his character, does it? I mean, he
No.
literally came out of the womb grabbing his twin brother Esau's heel.
Right. That pattern of grasping and seizing what he wanted, it just kept going.
Mhm.
And it all led up to this huge act of betrayal.
He'd already kind of conned Esau out of the birthright earlier, remember? For just a bowl of stew when Esau was starving.
Mhm. Exactly. But then came the really catastrophic part, deceiving his own blind father, Isaac,
Yeah.
putting on a disguise, pretending to be Esau, all to steal the blessing Isaac meant for his older son.
This wasn't just, brothers squabbling. This was deep, intentional theft of something sacred.
Absolutely. And when Esau found out, I mean, the rage. Jacob knew he was done for. He had to run immediately. His mother, Rebecca, basically tells him, go to Haran now.
So he leaves everything, everything he thought he'd cleverly gain the comfort, the security, his position in the family gone. He's a fugitive.
And that sets up the core theme we're exploring today, which is how God chooses to show up. He doesn't wait for Jacob to get his act together or apologize or fix things. No, he shows up right there, mid flight, in the middle of Jacob's mess.
Okay, let's really picture that state he was in. We can call this part maybe the schemer's exile. This is not some pleasant road trip.
No way. It's a forced march. He's alone on this long, dusty road heading into who knows what, carrying, immense guilt, the very real fear that Esau might be hunting him down, and just bone deep exhaustion,
We need to picture that low point. The sun goes down, he has to stop. The text says it was near a place called Luz.
which interestingly just means almond tree. It suggests it wasn't anywhere special, just some random, unremarkable spot, no inn, no shelter, just the open wilderness.
And then there's that detail, that one physical detail that tells you everything about how far he's fallen.
Oh,
The stone pillow.
right. It says he took a stone and put it under his head.
Mm.
Can you imagine?
This is the guy who valued comfort, who schemed for advantage, now sleeping rough with a rock for a pillow.
It's the ultimate contrast, isn't it? The man who wanted everything now has literally nothing but the hard ground, that stone pillow. It's more than just uncomfortable furniture. It's kind of a symbol for his whole life at that moment. Hard, cold, uncomfortable, and entirely the result of his own choices.
So, why do you think the story makes such a point of God meeting him right then, at that absolute zero point?
Well, I think it's because Jacob had finally truly run out of Jacob. He was out of schemes, out of energy, out of options. His reputation was shot. Up until then, he thought he could make things happen horizontally, tricking people, grabbing things, working the angles. God meets him when he literally can't look sideways anymore. He's flat on his back. He's forced to look up.
And that vertical look becomes everything in this next part, the divine bridge. Because while he's asleep, exhausted, probably guilt ridden, he has this incredible vision.
Incredible is the word. It's a dream packed with meaning. He sees this. Well, the text says ladder, but maybe staircase captures it better. Something solid, reaching right from where he lay on the dirt all the way up into heaven.
A direct connection.
Exactly. A perfect immediate link between earth and heaven. And it wasn't empty.
No, the text says angels were going up and down it, like messengers on some kind of divine highway. It showed that the distance between God and him wasn't as huge as his lonely exile probably felt.
Hmm. But the absolute peak of the vision, the real revelation, is when God himself is standing right there at the top. And he speaks directly to Jacob, the runaway, the liar, the trickster.
And this is where you really see what you called the scandalous nature of grace. God doesn't start with accusations or
Not
demands.
at all. He doesn't say, Jacob, you need to go back and fix things. He starts with pure, unearned promise.
Mhm.
He speaks to this fugitive and lays out this massive future for him.
He starts by reminding him who he is, right?
Yep.
Establishing that connection back. I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. It's like saying you haven't completely broken this lineage you risked throwing away.
Precisely. Then comes this huge promise about land and descendants. God gives him the very ground he's sleeping on and promises descendants as numerous as the dust of the earth. It's God saying, your failure doesn't derail my plan.
And then it goes even bigger, doesn't it? The universal blessing. Through you and your offspring, all peoples on earth will be blessed. This lists Jacob's personal mess onto a global stage, a destiny he could never earn.
Absolutely couldn't earn it. And then, maybe most importantly for Jacob right then, comes the personal assurance. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go. I will not leave you. That promise of presence is everything. Jacob is running from his home, running from his family, but God says, I'll be with you, no matter where, no matter what you did.
The whole covenant hinges on God's faithfulness, not Jacob's track record.
Exactly. It's all initiated by God.
So, what happens when he wakes up? That must have been intense. This shifts us into what becomes the house of God, Bethel.
Oh, yeah. The text says he woke up afraid, trembling. He suddenly realizes the empty wilderness isn't empty at all. It's charged, alive with God's presence. The spiritual reality just crashes into his physical awareness.
And he says those amazing words I think resonate with a lot of people. Surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, think about that. We often box God into church buildings or specific holy moments. Jacob realizes God is right there in the middle of nowhere on the site of his failure. And then he follows it up with, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven.
Wow. So the place of his lowest point becomes the gateway to heaven itself.
Instantly. And his response is immediate. He takes the very thing that symbolized his hardship, that stone pillow.
Rock under his head.
Yeah, that rock.
Yeah.
He sets it up on its end, makes it a pillar, and pours oil over it. Oil was used for consecration, for marking something as holy, set apart for God.
So he's transforming the symbol of his rock bottom into a monument, a marker of this divine encounter.
Exactly. Turning despair into dedication. And then he renames the place. He calls it Bethel, house of God.
That name sticks. Luz, the unremarkable almond tree place, becomes Bethel, the house of God.
And if you're listening, think about why this matters so much. God didn't wait for Jacob to build a fancy temple or offer some perfect sacrifice. He met him when Jacob was literally lying in the dirt, guilty, scared, with nothing but a stone for comfort. It shows that God meets us right in our chaos, not just when we think we've tidied everything up.
That's powerful. And it brings us back to the ladder itself, doesn't it? The deeper meaning of that ladder or staircase. The direction is key.
It really is. It's a core divine principle being shown here. See, most human religions are about us trying to climb up to God through rituals, good works, effort, sacrifice, whatever it is.
We build the tower trying to reach heaven.
Right. But this ladder in Jacob's dream, it flicks the script. It's firmly planted on earth where Jacob is, but it originates in heaven. It's God reaching down to humanity. It's a divine bridge, initiated and sustained from God's side, not ours.
And that image gets picked up much later, doesn't it? In the New Testament.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Explicitly. Jesus himself references it. In the Gospel of John, chapter 1, he tells Nathanael, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man.
He applies the Bethel vision directly to himself.
Exactly. Jesus is essentially saying, I am the ladder. I am the connection. I am the reality that Jacob only saw in a dream. He is the bridge, the way God comes down to us and the way we can access God.
So the Bethel vision points forward to Christ as the ultimate house of God, the ultimate meeting place between heaven and earth.
That's the theological heart of it, yes.
Okay, but back to Jacob. He has this overwhelming vision, this incredible promise, but he's still Jacob. When he wakes up fully, he makes a vow. And it's interesting.
It is interesting. It shows he's still processing, still work in progress.
Yeah.
He says basically, okay, if God will be with me, protect me on this journey, give me food and clothes, and bring me back safely to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God.
It's still conditional, isn't it? If you do all this for me, then I am in.
It is. It's not perfect, mature faith yet. It's still got that bargaining element that was so typical of Jacob. But, we shouldn't be too hard on him. It's honest. It's where he is. And crucially, it marks a shift. He's moving from Just knowing about the God of his father Abraham and his father Isaac,
Right, the God of history, the God of his family
to
stories.
starting to relate to his God, the God who met him in his wilderness. It's the beginning of a personal faith rooted in his own desperate encounter. That's a huge step.
That personal shift is key. God stops being theoretical and becomes real, present, the one who showed up when he had nothing left.
And that's really the lasting message of Bethel, isn't it? God builds his house, his connection with us, not out of perfect materials or flawless people, but through these powerful, messy, transformative encounters. He shows up right when we feel most broken, most lost.
He turns the place of exile into the house of God. So, as we wrap up our Bible discussion for today, the big takeaway from Bethel is pretty clear. Those places in your life that feel empty or lonely or just far from God, the nowhere places, sometimes those are the very spots where God chooses to reveal himself most clearly.
Yeah. The God of the ladder, the God who reaches down, he still meets us today in our exhaustion, in our fear, in our running.
So, maybe a thought to carry with you this week is, what stone pillow are you sleeping on right now? What part of your life feels hard, uncomfortable, maybe defined by failure or fear?
Remember that ladder Jacob saw wasn't a demand for him to climb up, it was an invitation from God reaching down.
An invitation to stop running, maybe. Stop striving in your own strength and trust the God who promises, I am with you, I will not leave you. Even when you can't see the connection, maybe heaven is closer than you think.
Well said.
And hey, if this conversation resonated with you, please join us next time. We're going to follow Jacob as he continues his journey. He arrives in Haran and meets someone who is going to turn his life upside down all over again. It's quite the story.
It really is. The drama continues.
So make sure you subscribe, maybe tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next Bible discussion. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments too. Did this story speak to you today? Let us know. Thanks for joining us.